WRLD Radio, the Valley Times News, and Sammons Communications presents
Good evening and welcome to Decision 90, Part 3, as we enter into the final chapter of the story that will be written about the 1990 election year. Most important 1990 election years. We will elect a governor in several important federal offices, as well as two very important local positions. On the November 6th ballot will be an election for Sheriff of Chambers County and election for Chambers County Commission from District 5. Our program tonight, to begin with, will deal with the sheriff's race in Chambers County between Bill Harris and James Morgan. We remind you that this is an informative program. It's designed with you in mind, where you're invited to participate in the program by calling in any questions you may have pertinent to the election 2 weeks from today. We ask you again not to deal in personalities and not to deal in embarrassing questions. Quite frankly, we won't ask them if you call them in. We will stream the program, and we reserve the right not to ask embarrassing questions to the candidates. We will ask any question you ask dealing with the election itself. And we'll be back with the candidates for Sheriff of Chambers County right after this 60-second commercial timeout.
Christmas specials let you own beautiful furniture at low prices. Choose quality swivel rockers for holiday comfort and value. And doesn't everyone deserve a sumptuous recliner? Just pick your style at Skinner's. Accent your home, buy for gifts. Skinner's gun cabinets, curios, and desk. This beautiful 4-piece bedroom suit is a low $399. Now at Skinner Furniture, downtown West Point. Just for you, Skinner's Furniture is featuring an early bird Christmas sale. Decorate for the holidays early and save on this table and 4 chairs of solid ponderosa pine, only $399. Entertain lots of guests with Skinner's popular steel daybed in gleaming antique white, only $88. Skinner's invites you to experience Comfort Plus in this holiday special sofa, a low $299. Remember, easy terms, free delivery at Skinner Furniture, West Point.
Wayne?
Since this is the runoff election, we have both candidates here for the office of sheriff, and we'll do this in alphabetical order. The Republican nominee is William Bill Harris. The Democratic nominee is James C. Morgan. We'll ask each candidate to have a 1-minute opening remark. Okay, Mr. Harris.
My name is Bill Harris. I'm an ABC enforcement agent assigned here in Chambers County. I was raised here in Chambers County, have lived here continuously since 1968, with the exception of 4 years that I served in the United States Navy, and 2 years I was away when I served as Chief of Police in Hurtsboro, Alabama. I'm married to Denise Flanagan Harris. We've been married for the past 11.5 years. We live in Lafayette, and we have one son, John, who is 9 years old.
Sheriff Morgan.
I'm Sheriff Morgan, candidate for re-election in the Democratic primary. I've been your sheriff for the past 20 years. Will be this January. I have tried to give the county good, honest, official, and able law enforcement. I am married to the former Louise Hamby of Hughley. I have 5 children and 3 grandchildren. and I solicit your vote and support in this general election.
Thank you both, and now we ask you to phone in your questions to either of the candidates or to both candidates. Our numbers are on the screen now, 644-4817 or 644-2121. If the line's busy, keep trying. Our first question will be addressed to Mr. Harris. You stated in the paper there were 137 drug cases bringing in $214,000. Two questions. How was this money distributed, and was there not other agencies involved in the drug cases?
That figure includes the number of cases that I made. The money figure is not cash money, it is the money in drugs and cash seized. That did not include other agencies. That was investigations that I handle with the use of undercover agents. Sometimes another agency would be called in as far as backup assistance. I was tasked with gathering all the information, intelligence information, for those investigations, as well as the preparation of the case files and taking those cases to court. That does not include any cases which I was called in by one of the local departments to assist them in an investigation. That would be a separate number.
Wayne?
Okay. I'd like to ask both of you gentlemen the same question. In the simplest terms, what this election boils down to is whether or not we need a change. Why or why not? Mr. Harris, you first, and Sheriff Morgan.
Well, I definitely feel we need a change. I've known Sheriff Morgan for most of my life. He is a fine gentleman. I did an awful lot of soul searching before I entered into this race. But there's some things going on in the county that I feel very strongly about and that I feel must be changed. We're heading in a bad direction when we have drug dealers standing on the street corners. The budget is just literally out of control. These are issues that must be addressed. We're seeing types of crimes in Chambers County now that we never saw in the past. I think that we must have progressive, efficient leadership to deal with those problems, and I feel that I can offer that leadership because of my expertise and experience in law enforcement, as well as my education.
Sure.
I don't feel that we need any change in law enforcement in Chambers County. The Sheriff's Office is a lot larger office than the ABC Board, enforcement, a lot larger office than the police departments. The population of the county is located in the Lynette Valley and Lafayette. I do not try to interfere with the law enforcement inside those cities. This is where the drug cases would be made, inside the cities. The Sheriff's Office encompasses courts, burglaries, and lots of other enforcement that's not included in the cities or with the ABC Board. We are spread more thinner than any of those agencies. In the Sheriff's Office, to cover the area of Chambers County, we have 13 deputies. In the city of Lynette, there is some 20 or near 20 officers to cover the city and police jurisdiction, with no civil papers or courts, circuit courts and this type courts to run. In the city of Valley, they have somewhere near 20 officers with somewhere around 12,000 people that they are serving. City of Lafayette has 10 or 11 officers that they are serving approximately 4,000 people with. I feel that the people in the past have been comfortable with the Sheriff's Office, the type of service that we've given, by allowing me to run twice without opposition. And this time I have had opposition, but I don't think it was solicited opposition.
Well, I'd like to again ask both of you the same question. What would you say are some of your opponent's good points and some of his weaknesses? Mr. Harris, you first, and then Sheriff Morgan.
Well, of course, Sheriff Morgan's strong point is his personality. That's quite obvious by the number of years of service he's put in. He's been reelected time and time again. I think weaknesses, I think an inability to deal with the drug problem. I think that there are some management problems in the Sheriff's Department. As Sheriff Morgan said, there are 13 deputies and himself, which is a total of 14 people. I think that the department is top-heavy, supervisor-wise. I feel like that there's not as much work done as should be done. Too many chiefs and not enough Indians is a phrase that I like to use. I feel that at this point in time, our county has gotten to a point where we've got to have aggressive, effective law enforcement. We've got to have somebody who's willing to be out there and work 12, 14 hours a day on a case if that's what it takes to make that case, to be able to prepare an efficient prosecution, to take that case to court and get a conviction so we can send a clear signal to the drug dealers. That's the primary problem. The chiefs of police, local chiefs of police, estimate, some have estimated as much as 60%, others as much as 90% of the crime rate in their cities directly related to drugs. And I feel that we have to deal with this issue, and when we do deal with it, then you'll see decreases in the other areas in crime.
Sheriff Morgan, what are Mr. Harris's good points and his weak points?
I think that one of his good points has been that serving with the ABC board, money has been no limit. He has been able to call in other agents at any time that he requested agents. They were sent to assist him. And as I said, money's been no object. We don't have that kind of money to spend on drugs. I just feel that if Mr. Harris is elected sheriff, that he'll find that money is a problem and that he'll not be able to be as effective in the drug program as he is now. And I just feel like that would be his point. He has money to operate with that we don't have.
Sheriff Morgan, from a viewer, how many escapes this year, and why has the sheriff not given figures on or statistics of drug arrest?
We call the radio stations and the newspapers when we make drug arrests. I have never refused to give any statistics on drug arrest or what our statistics are. Most of our drug cases have been made in conjunction with other departments, some being made on our own. We had the largest marijuana ratification this time that I can remember ever being in Chambers County. There could have been a larger one, but I don't think that there was. The escapes at the county jail, I feel that if you check the record of any surrounding county or with the state penal system, our escapes have not exceeded any of the surrounding counties or the state penal system. We are operating a maximum security jail with a minimum security. We're under construction over there. We have a makeshift exercise area. We have, this morning we had, I believe, 90 in jail with 77 beds. You can't run a maximum security jail with a minimum security. We are understaffed, and we're just not able to run a maximum security jail. Once we get moved into the new jail and get moved into that area, then we'll be able to put people in lockdown, have an exercise area that will be comfortable with what we need, and we'll be able to run a secure jail.
Let me ask both candidates now. As you can tell, as you're answering the questions, the phones are ringing off the hook. So we'll ask you both to be as brief as possible in the answers to the questions so that we can get to as many of the questions as possible. To Bill Harris, and we will ask some questions that we don't know what they're about and hope that you do. Bill Harris, what happened to the 22 cases of sales of alcoholic beverages sold to minors?
That question should be directed to Sheriff Morgan. That case, those cases were not made by the ABC Board. They were made by the Chambers County Sheriff's Department. The cases were later dropped. Whenever the ABC Board makes undercover minor sales cases, we get a picture of the minor that we're going to send to the licensees. We send that picture along with the individual's birth certificate to Montgomery, and they are approved, that person is approved by the ABC Board to do the undercover buys. This is done to ensure that the person looks underage. It's not a deceptive tactic in any way. In that regard, we don't end up with somebody who is under 21 and looks as though they're over 21. From what I know of these cases, and again, I did not make them, they were made by the Sheriff's Department. The individual who was used to make these alcoholic beverage purchases was 20 years old, and it's my understanding that he looked to be much older than that, and as a result, the cases were dropped.
Sheriff Morgan, would you like to respond?
I sure would. Number one, the reason the cases were dropped. But when the cases were first made, the investigator came to me and asked me about making some minor buys. I told him to go ahead. At that time, I thought he would be working people who we were having complaints on and people who were deliberately selling alcoholic beverage to minors. When the cases were brought in, this was not true. Then after looking at those cases and looking at the informer that he used, as Mr. Harris said, the informer did look to be 21 or 22 years old. Then beyond that, when I began to look at who had made those sales, I had two reasons. One, I can name one or two widow women who were working at Spectrum stores and some other stores who had 1 to 3 children and was working that job plus another job in order to be able to support their children, and I'm talking about people who were not on welfare and were just living off of what they made. Then if those cases had gone to court and had been convicted, they would have paid a fine in court. It was much needed by them, and I don't think that it was done deliberate. And beyond that, then the ABC Board would have brought them to Montgomery and charged them another from $300 to $500 with the ABC Board in Montgomery. I don't agree with this, and that's why the cases were handled like they were.
Okay, I have separate questions for each of you. First, Mr. Harris, a question that was phoned in to us. Why did you choose to run for the office of sheriff against an incumbent who has been in office for 20 years?
Well, as I had said earlier, I did a lot of soul searching before I entered into this race. I feel that our county, law enforcement-wise, is headed in a bad direction, and I feel that something must be done. I think it's time that we had very serious, competent leadership to deal with the drug problem, to deal with the budget crisis, and to take the politics out of law enforcement. I don't think there's any place whatsoever for politics of any shape, form, or fashion in law enforcement.
Sheriff Morgan, some observers have said that politics is becoming more hard-hitting and vicious and dirty than it's ever been before. Have you seen anything in the present campaign that you would term dirty politics or mudslinging?
I'm looking after my campaign, and I don't know what mudslinging is. I don't know what dirty politics is. I know less about politics than anybody you know. I try to run my job as it should be run. When time comes to run for sheriff, I I do my advertising, visit with the people, and ask them to vote for me. And really, that's all I know about politics. I know very little about politics, and I really mean that. I don't know.
We're going to take a brief time out for a commercial message, and we'll be back with the conclusion of this part of the program.
Skinner's Early Bird Christmas Specials let you own beautiful furniture at low, low prices. Choose quality swivel rockers for holiday comfort and value. And doesn't everyone deserve a sumptuous recliner? Just pick your style at Skinner's. Accent your home, buy for gifts. Skinner's gun cabinets, curios, and desk. This beautiful 4-piece bedroom suit is a low $399. Now at Skinner Furniture, downtown West Point.
Decision 90, Part 3 continues with Pearce and Wayne Clark.
We've asked each candidate to be as brief in their answers as they possibly can because we only have about 9 more minutes left and we have a lot of questions. Mr. Harris, please give your experience and educational background which qualifies you for sheriff.
I have 10 years experience in the law enforcement field. 2 of those years as chief of police in Hurtsboro, Alabama. The past 3 as an enforcement agent with the ABC board here in Chambers County. Prior to that, I worked for the police departments here in Chambers County. I attended Southern Union Junior College and have a associate's degree in police science from Southern Union. I then went to Troy State University. I have a Bachelor of Science degree from Troy State. And I attended Jones Law School for a while after graduating from Troy State.
Sheriff Morgan, why aren't your DUI cases in the paper?
I don't know that the papers is interested in them. For a long time, we did not give the DUI cases to the media, but at this time we are giving them to the media, and if the paper wants to print them, they're there for them.
Okay, Sheriff Morgan, in the 20 years you've been sheriff, have you personally prepared a drug search warrant? If so, please describe.
I have prepared several drug cases. Drug case search warrants. I don't remember who they were for. I've prepared a number of search warrants in the 20 years that I've been sheriff.
Okay, follow-up question. On your marijuana eradication program, is this a program conducted by the state of Alabama or is it done locally by the Sheriff's Department?
It's done by the request of the Sheriff's Department in conjunction with the Alabama National Guard, the ABC, and with ABI, and with the local police department. Ours was really done by the Drug Task Force.
Here's a question here for Mr. Harris. What supervisory position have you held in your law enforcement career, including the number of people supervised, that would qualify you to operate a department the size of the Chambers County Sheriff's Office?
When I was chief of police at Hurtsboro, Alabama, which is a much smaller department than the Chambers County Sheriff's Department, during my time at the Hurtsboro Police Department on a level funding budget from the year before, which I did not prepare, the first year we were able to buy 2 new cars, give everybody a 10% raise, put in new communications equipment. This was done by proper and efficient management, cutting out overtime, cutting out service contracts which were personally motivated and not financially motivated and this sort of thing. We took the fat out of the budget. I feel like that makes me more than qualified to handle the Sheriff's Department budget also.
To each candidate, what are your religious affiliations and what church do you attend? Sheriff Morgan.
I am Baptist, and I'm an active member of the First Baptist Church in Lafayette.
Mr. Harris.
I was raised as a child in the Congregational Christian Church. My father was a minister for about 25 years. During my adult life, I have attended the Methodist Church, and at the present time, I am not a member of any church.
Mr. Harris, what personnel changes are you going to make, how many drug cases were thrown out of court for various reasons?
On the personnel, there will definitely be some reorganization. That does not mean necessarily that anybody who is employed there now would be fired or dismissed. The professional standards of the Sheriff's Department would be raised considerably from what they are now. Any individual who is there and who can meet those professional standards would have a job as long as they wanted it. If they could not meet those standards, professional standards, then they would be replaced. The primary personnel change that I would make, there would be one investigator who would be assigned full-time to work drugs. That would be his full-time duties would be to work drugs.
I have a question to both of you. This morning, radio station WCJM conducted a telephone survey in which listeners were given the opportunity to vote for either of you in the upcoming race for sheriff. Admittedly, such a procedure is very unscientific, and in such a process, there's no reliable way to estimate a sampling error. Even so, between 750 and 800 callers called in their votes, and according to the final tabulation, Mr. Harris won by a sizable margin, something like 58% to 42%. Station manager Terrell Whaley said it was the first time in 20 years he had conducted a straw poll in the Chambers County Sheriff's race that Sheriff Morgan lost. Can this election be looked upon as a sign of things to come, or as a fluke? Mr. Harris, you first.
You're referring to the poll?
Yeah.
Well, I was very encouraged by that poll, of course. But I don't think that it really came as a big surprise. I had been from one end of this county to the other during this campaign. I took a leave of absence 2 months ago to donate my time full-time to this campaign. From one end of this county to the other, the things you're hearing is, why aren't things being done about the drugs? Why doesn't the county have any money? Why does it take 45 minutes to an hour for a deputy to respond to my house when I call? These are all issues that are being heard throughout the county, and I have addressed each of these issues. I have defined specific plans of how I intend to deal with these issues, and no, I do not think the poll was a fluke.
Sheriff Morgan, do you consider it a fluke?
I don't consider it a fluke. I'll take the November 6th vote. I guess the people are telling Bill and myself the same thing. From one end of the county to the other, people are telling me that I'm doing a good job and to keep up the good work, and I don't understand the polls or how it comes in, and I've seen them go both ways on that radio station.
Sheriff Morgan, why are Sheriff's Department's deputies furnished a car and used for one day? Are they used for their personal use?
Back a number of years ago, the first time that this was done was in Kansas City. Kansas City, Missouri started doing this a number of years ago, and they said that the crime was reduced considerably with the officers using the cars as their personal cars. Indiana, one of the cities in Indiana, started behind them doing this. It reduced their crime considerably. The city of Columbus does this at this time. They say that it has reduced their crime considerably, and we feel that if a deputy drives a deputy car to Kroger and gets out of that car, then the public that's there don't know if it's a deputy on duty or whether he's off duty, and it also gives us access to that deputy. If he's on the job someplace else, we can call that deputy. He's in the car and ready to go with his equipment.
As you can very well tell by the response and by our telephone participation, it's a very a good race for Sheriff of Chambers County, and we're fortunate in Chambers County to have two very capable people seeking the office. The candidates are Bill Harris, the Republican candidate, and the Democratic nominee, James Morgan. You will make the final decision on November the 6th. Thank you both for being here with us. We'll be back and meet the candidates for Chambers County Commission from District 5 right after this commercial timeout.
Skinner's Early Bird Christmas Specials let you own beautiful furniture at low, low prices. Choose quality swivel rockers for holiday comfort and value. And doesn't everyone deserve a sumptuous recliner? Just pick your style at Skinner's. Accent your home, buy for gifts. Skinner's gun cabinets, curios, and desk. This beautiful 4-piece bedroom suite is a low $399. Now at Skinner Furniture, downtown West Point. Just for you, Skinner's Furniture is featuring an early bird Christmas sale. Decorate for the holidays early and save on this table and 4 chairs of solid Ponderosa pine, only $399. Entertain lots of guests with Skinner's popular steel daybed in gleaming antique white, only $88. Skinner's invites you to experience Comfort Plus in this holiday special sofa, a low $299. Remember, easy terms, free delivery at Skinner Furniture, West Point.
Decision 90, Part 3 continues with Al Pearce and Wayne Clark, and it's being brought to you through the facilities of Cable Television Channel 6 and WALD Radio, and brought to you with the best wishes of Skinner Furniture Stores in downtown West Point. Again, here is Al Pearce.
Okay, good evening and welcome back in to the portion of the program dealing with the Chambers County Commission from District 5. Again, we ask for your participation with your telephone calls and questions. Our number 644-4817 or 644-2121. Our candidates for the Chambers County Commission, District 5, the incumbent, the Democratic nominee, Mary Sue Smith, the Republican challenger, David Eastridge. Each candidate will be allowed a 1-minute opening statement. First candidate, David Eastridge.
Thank you. It's hard to even get started in 1 minute. I'd like to thank WRLD and Valley Times News. I am from District 5. I lived in lower part of Fairfax. I lived there all my life except for a 7-year period in the United States Air Force. I've been concerned about county government for years. I feel like that the government can be streamlined. I think the money needs to be spent appropriately. And I'm looking forward to working with the people. I feel like the people need to be involved in the county government. I'm working to change the commissioner meetings times to afternoon and evening hours so people can get involved and come to the commissioner meetings. And I hope to talk to everyone in the district. It's hard to get out and talk to everyone, but I'm working at it and hope to see you, and I appreciate your vote on November 6th.
Thank you, David. Mary Sue Smith.
First, I want to thank everyone for having the program tonight. It's so informative. My name is Mary Sue Smith, and I'm a President County Commissioner for District 5, seeking re-election 2 weeks from today. I'm a native of Chambers County, lived here all my life. I'm a high school graduate, Perry Business School graduate, and attended Auburn. I have been back to school approximately 5 times since I graduated, and have taken several cases on county administration work. I have I was married to the late Preston Smith. I have 2 daughters, Neva Van Meter and Gina Klein Smith, and 1 son, Jerry. I have 3 grandchildren, and they are grand. I love them very much. And the reason I'm seeking election is I love and I care, and I want to help the people of my district.
Wayne.
Well, to begin with, I'd like to ask you, both candidates, the same question. What would you say are some of your opponent's strong points and weak points?
I don't have any weak points about him. I mean, everything I've ever heard about him's been good. I haven't really known David that long, but I know absolutely nothing bad about him.
I feel the same way. I've known Miss Smith for a long time. She probably just don't remember me. I helped start the Hughley Fire Department when Lynette opened, and I was a fireman with Lynette for 2 years. And Miss Smith would come down and check on us and bring us something to drink every once in a while, some cookies. And so she's a mighty fine lady, and I think a lot of it.
In general, I'd like to ask you pretty much the same question. Is county government headed on the right track, or do some changes need to be made?
Well, Wayne, I think at all times that changes need to be made. It's true that, a lot of our money from the federal government has been cut out, and we're having to operate on less funds than what we have. We have some very major problems facing the county. One of them is this solid waste management thing that we're going to have to put in on the landfill. It's going to be a very serious thing. It's going to be a very expensive project. And another thing that I'm very proud of is our jail. We're getting our jail on the go now, and I think maybe by February it will be ready for occupancy for the first inmates to move in.
More and more observers are saying our country is facing a national health care crisis. According to this view, a variety of complex factors such as Medicare reimbursement policies and the changing nature of a hospital's patient mix have combined to produce a cloudy, unfavorable picture. This phenomenon has hit pretty hard close to home with our own George H. Lanier Memorial Hospital experiencing the tough financial times it's currently going through. In addition, much of rural Chambers County, including much of District 5, could be without EMS service should the city of Lafayette follow through with its stated objective of halting such service on November 15th. As citizens and elected officials of our community, should we be unconditional in our efforts to salvage high-quality EMS and/or hospital services? And specifically, if called on by hospital officials, would you support a local taxpayer-funded bailout to keep the hospital from going under? I'd like to ask you each of that question. Start.
Definitely, I would support any issues that would keep our hospital. We do not want to lose our hospital. However, right now, our ambulance service is not a crisis. We have been through a crisis situation one time when I was on the county commissioner before, when our 3 private ambulance, they just quit. I mean, they closed the doors at 12 o'clock one night. And that is when we got with the cities and made an agreement that the 3 cities, if we bought the ambulances, that they would have territorial districts to cover the whole county. But now, we are not in a crisis this time on it because our Ways and Means Committee is meeting with the cities and working out a solution to this. And I'll say this much, with 12 volunteer fire and rescue squads located all over the county, it would be very hard to be without service. As far as the EMS services, I think they're wonderful, but we certainly want to keep our hospital. And you mentioned about the hospital having such a time with Medicare. That's one thing what is wrong with the hospital is, you know, you can file Medicare and it may be 8 months, 12 months before they pay the bill. Well, the hospital's got to operate on. And another thing, in all fairness to say, I think we firmly miss West Point Pepper.
Mr. Eastridge, should county government be unconditional in its support of the hospital?
Well, I'd like to address the ambulance service also before I mention the hospital. I think it is very crucial. I personally don't think we should have gotten to this point even considering it be a crisis. I think we should have worked with the cities on a regular basis. I'd like to see the commission and the councilmen come together on, say, a quarterly basis and sit down and talk about these things. There's no reason for people that run or work in the county cannot come together and talk about problems of the future problems. And so I firmly believe that we need to do everything possible. As far as the volunteer fire and rescue, the main job of theirs presently is the fire department. I've checked some of the rural fire departments, and mainly what they're concerned was the fire department, not rescue. So I would not want to, you know, I think they do an outstanding job, but as far as rescue, I would be very concerned with that problem. The hospital, I've been reading the commissioner handbook, and they do have the authority to procure and operate under hospital authority. I don't know if it'll come to that, but if we lose the hospital, I'm afraid we're going to lose a lot more than just health care. We're going to start losing people. I know I asked a lot of people if they had to locate any time present, any time in the future, would they still consider locating in the valley? And their first answer is without hospital care and EMS, no. So I think it's very crucial that the commission gets behind this and works hard to save the hospital and the emergency medical service.
I have a question for both candidates. We'll ask Mr. Eastridge to respond first. Do you think the county engineer is doing a good job of maintaining our roads?
I think a lot of agencies need to be looked at closely, financially and supervisively. I feel like the commissioners are they're the boss, I guess you might say. I've resented, I'm not a commissioner yet, and I resent people talking about calling Charles Market for a job to be done. If I'm elected commission, I want them to call me. I'll make the work order, I'll check on what's going on, and I'll do my very best if it is legal and proper to have it done.
Ms. Smith?
Well, first, the commissioner that's over that district, most people call them and they write up work orders and turn them in to Mr. Market. I think Mr. Market is doing wonderful with what he has to do with, but his department has been cut down very sharply. There are probably only about 35 people in his department now that covers 600 square miles of Chambers County.
For both candidates, what do you feel about the cities using the county jail? Ms. Smith?
You're speaking of a very expensive thing. First place, back 10 years ago, our jail was not overcrowded. Kilby Prison was torn down, and the state of Alabama dished out to the 67 counties a number of state prisoners. Randolph County Jail was closed down, so they gave us part of Randolph County's. Then we have the city of Lanette's prisoners, the city of Valley's prisoners, the city of Lafayette's prisoners, and we bear all the expense. They do not pay not one penny. And we had one prisoner that was transferred to us that the county ended up paying $19,000 medical bill on. If they say they need to go to the hospital, we've got to take them. And then we, on account of the state, you know, really it was the combined thing that made us get overcrowded, and it has been an expensive thing. I think the city should handle their own prisoners.
David?
I think the state prisons is a problem, but I think a lot of times people have a tendency to overlook that the Lanett and Valley and Lafayette is in Chambers County. The people in Lanett and Lafayette and Valley do pay their taxes. A lot of the money is being raised for the jail has been a fee on license that is going to the jail, and a lot of businesses in the Valley, Lafayette, and Lanett area pay these fees to finance the jail. So, you know, I go back to that we need to sit down and discuss these problems together as a commission, as a council, and look at it. But the people are in Lanett and Valley and Lafayette are paying their taxes, so they're financing the jail also.
A reminder that our phone numbers are 644-4817 or 644-2121, and we'll be back with more questions for the candidates after this commercial message.
Skinner's Early Bird Christmas Specials lets you own beautiful furniture at low, low prices. Choose quality swivel rockers for holiday comfort and value. And doesn't everyone deserve a sumptuous recliner? Just pick your style at Skinner's. Accent your home, buy for gifts. Skinner's gun cabinets, curios, and desk. This beautiful four-piece bedroom suite is a low $399. Now at Skinner Furniture, downtown West Point.
Okay, someone wants to know where David Eastridge lives.
I live on Johnson Chapel Road, down below Fairfax, between Pearce Truck Stop and Highway 29.
That narrows it down pretty well. Wayne?
Okay, here's a question for both of you. How do you feel about home rule? Ms. Smith?
Me? I'm 100% for home rule. I do not like legislators going to Montgomery, passing laws, coming back saying you're going to pay the probate judge this, you're going to pay the tax assessor this, you're going to pay this person this, this person that, without even contacting us to see if we have the money to pay it. I just think instead of all of our money going to Montgomery first and coming back to the county, and we have never been able to figure out the formula that they sent it back on, that I think if we got our own money and had our home rule, that we could do more with it.
Mr. Eastridge?
I've read over the home rule resolution, and I personally am a little scared of it. If you have good commissioners that are concerned about the county and spend the money properly, I think it possibly would work pretty well. But when you read into it and then think if you get some commissioners that are not concerned, they want to raise taxes and irresponsibly spend money, I'm afraid we could get into ourselves into a jam. I like to make it a little hard for the commissioners to pass and levy taxes. I like for them to have to ask for a vote of the people. So I'm a little leery on the home rule situation.
Follow-up question to Ms. Smith. The listener or viewer says that Valley and Lynette do pay food and medical expenses for their prisoners in the jail. Could you explain?
Well, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay. Mr. Eastridge, do you understand the unit system in relationship to the Highway Department and County Engineer?
Yes, sir, I do. The unit type form of government, you have 6 commissioners, and they can vote across district lines. All the commissioners look at the county as a whole and needs to be concerned about the county as a whole, not just their district, but they are representing their district. They do answer to the people. That is the reason for the commission, is the people of Chambers County and their district, District 5. So I think I understand it, but the people that vote for you want you to be accountable for what's going on in their district.
This question for both of you. Is the county commission involved in too many lawsuits?
No.
Ms. Smith?
Just about every prisoner that goes through the jail files a lawsuit. It hasn't been so bad for the last 6 to 8 months because the state has moved some of their prisoners out, and about the only time we really get crowded is when they're bringing the state prisoners back from Montgomery for trial, and they are in the jail at that time. But we have had worlds of lawsuits from overcrowdedness, but it has eased off considerably.
Mayor Sue Smith, have you learned about the controversial road closings in your district? And what do you plan to do differently about these in the future?
I would not do anything different on a road closing that I have not already done, because in the first place, before a road is closed, I personally spend probably about a month working. I go to Mr. Gilbert's office, I contact everyone that has property around that road. Now, a road closing can be a very touchy thing, but as long as people are using that road, I'm against closing roads.
Boy.
Here's a question for each of you. Each of you are seeking the nomination under the label of a different party. Ms. Smith, you're running as a Democrat, Mr. Eastridge, a Republican. Will each of you publicly endorse the entire slate of candidates for your given party?
Well, would you want me to answer?
Yes, you first.
I'm a 100% Democrat. I was raised in a Democrat family, and I know I have some personal friends that I have crisscrossed in the general election and voted for them that was Republicans. It all depends on who they are and what you know about them.
Mr. Eastridge, would you endorse the Republican slate?
Well, I feel the same way. It's a lot of times it's like sometimes church members. You know, you're proud of all of them, but sometimes they don't go like the church should go. So, you know, there is times that I could see possibly voting for the individual.
Ms. Smith, a viewer would like to know your feelings on the industrial development and what is being done with the tax millage now existing.
Okay, in 1984, well, let's go back to about 1982. You know, that's when the industrial parks were first formed. In 1984, I was not a commissioner, but the commissioners voted in a 2 meal tax. But now, it was not earmarked. It goes in the general fund. But it was voted in, you know, to be used to pave the roads and things in the industrial park. In 1984, I believe it was, the county borrowed $750,000 to do this work with. This 2 meal tax has been used continuously, and we are to make the last payment on that this year. And the reason we did not earmark this money is if we had an emergency, if you put it in the general fund, you could use it for something else if you didn't have the money, you know, to use it. But once you earmark anything, you're going to have to turn around, and the public is going to have to re-vote on it. And when it's in the general fund, you do not.
Right.
Okay. Here's a question for both of you. It's been estimated that unless we radically change the way we dispose of solid waste, present land being used for landfills must double within the next 10 years nationwide. It's also been said that much of what we bury in these landfills could be recycled. Should we in Chambers County give more thought to promoting recycling rather than simply burying solid waste, much of what could be used again and again if handled properly? What are your thoughts on that subject?
You want it?
You
Okay.
first.
You want me?
Yes, first.
Okay. In 1979, the United States government decided that all of America was beginning to become a cesspool. So they put in they passed some congressional bills on solid waste to clean up America, but money got short and they didn't push it until last year. Last year, about May the 10th of 1989, EPA, which is Environment Protection Agency, they were informed by the government to get in touch with the states, and of course they came to ADM, which is Alabama Department of Environment Management. And the state of Alabama, through the legislature, passed a law that is known 89-824, which will be requiring the counties to recycle 25% of all the solid waste, and they've got 5 years to come up with a plan, but we had to present a draft of it by the 15th of November. We, at this time, are taking to the landfill 99 tons of solid waste per day. That means we will have to recycle 25 tons by day. That is going to be the law.
As far as recycling, I hope that the commissioners can come up and encourage the people. I feel like this is where the encouragement of individuals. I know the newspapers that you print can be recycled. It's costly, I'm sure. Of course, the aluminum cans is constantly being recycled. Several cities have facilities for grinding limbs and turning them back into mulch for the purpose of fertilization. So I feel like, hopefully, with the commissioner's encouragement to the cities, because the cities are going to be picking up a lot of the trash and everything, they can be encouraged to do some recycling before it gets to the landfill. So I feel like it can work, but we need to all work together.
Okay, we remind you again that our phone numbers are 644-4817 or 644-2121, and we'll be back with the candidates for Commissioner from District 5 right after this commercial message.
Just for you, Skinner's Furniture is featuring an early bird Christmas sale. Decorate for the holidays early and save on this table and 4 chairs of solid Ponderosa pine, only $399. Entertain lots of guests with Skinner's popular steel daybed in gleaming antique white, only $88. Skinner's invites you to experience Comfort Plus in this holiday special sofa, a low $299. Remember, easy terms, free delivery at Skinner Furniture, West Point.
Continuing with the candidates for the Chambers County Commission from District 5, Mr. Eastridge, you stated that you were skeptical about home rule. What do you think about legislators in Montgomery passing laws for raises for local officials when the counties don't have the money to pay the raises?
Well, if they're going to legislate us increasing their pay, it looked like they would come up with some type of finances to help us with the financing of paying these salaries. But I guess what my concern is going back to the commission as a whole having the right to levy taxes when needed and when they see fit. And I guess that's one of my things I didn't get to reply a while ago. The 2 mil property tax was advertised. I've talked to you, Mr. Al, and the newspapers, and they remember very distinctly that it was pushed for industrial development. The people do not mind trying to help. The people are willing to. They went to the polls and voted to raise the millage tax to help industrial development. I've had several people while I've been out campaigning got very strong and said that's the only reason I voted for it. And I can understand earmarking stuff, but as bad as Chambers County is in need of industrial improvement, I feel like earmarking would not have hurt a thing. We could use that and then some, because we have got to increase the industry in the county. One commissioner made a comment, he didn't care if it located in Opelika or LaGrange, it helped Chambers County. Sure it does, but when these people go to these areas, they spend their money there, they have their bank accounts there, and we lose revenue.
Mrs. Smith, here's a question that came in from our viewers. Are you personally for or against annexation of Hughley into the city of Gwinnett?
Am I for or against it? I think that's up to the vote of the people. I would not comment on that because I would stay out of that, but it'd be up to the vote of the people.
Okay, another voter wants you to elaborate on the waste problems presently at the dump. They were not aware that we had any.
Waste problems. A lot of people didn't understand the landfill, but under ADEM regulations, our landfill has to be monitored. In fact, they have been monitoring it today for gas. You know, and another thing that's going to be a very stiff requirement about our landfill is we are going to have double liners put in that landfill, which is going to be very costly, and it has already started. A landfill is a very expensive thing. This landfill that we have now that's supposed to last 15 years, it may go 5 more, and it's been going about 5 now. But what is really filling it up is a lot of trees and limbs and things like that. It's bucket stuff that can be recycled into compost. And before long, we will be recycling aluminum, we'll be recycling glass, we'll be recycling from service stations where you change oil, burnt oil, we'll be recycling, we'll be recycling newspapers, and it's going to be required that we do.
Okay. I'd like to ask both of you this same question. How do you feel about the state legislature passing laws to raise the salary of local officials without notifying county government?
I don't like it. I don't like it because I had a senator to come before me one day, before Commissioner's Court, and he commented that he was going back to Montgomery. The senator is not from this district. He was going back to Montgomery and raise the probate judge salary at that time. I looked right at him and I said, Senator, are you going to supply us with the money to pay this man? And he says, oh no, that's up to you to come up with the money.
Okay, in order to even things out, I think we had 3 different questions, and let's ask David Eastridge, what do you think about annexation of Hughley into Lynette?
Well, I do not live in the Hughley area. We have the same situation in the lower part of Valley. The way I feel about it, I only have 1 vote, and the vote is personal. So I feel like the people, if they want it, they'll vote for it. If they don't, they won't.
To both candidates, what do you think can be done to stop illegal dumping in Chambers County? Ms. Smith?
We have over 100 illegal dumping sites in the county. The county has cleaned them up continuously, but it doesn't help. I think personally to have dumpsters would help. The other commissioners does not go along with me. They do not believe that that's the solution. But now Lee County has dumpsters, Troup County has dumpsters, and I believe it would eliminate a lot of the illegal dumping.
David?
I personally feel like dumpsters possibly would help, but I feel like we need to get with Mr. Adams, the health department, and I feel like we need to start making cases. I feel like there's enough information in the trash and garbage. Most time people that dump do not go through and make sure there's no papers or no identification in the trash, and I feel like we can start making cases, and once they know that we're going to make cases, I think that'll start cutting down on the illegal dumps.
We have about a minute remaining.
Mrs. Smith, one of our viewers wants to know if it's true that the city of LaGrange uses the Chambers County landfill.
I'm not familiar with it. I don't know about that. I don't know if anyone brings any outside. I know Waste Away takes hours to Lee County, but...
Here's a follow-up question for both of you. Is there a solution for littering, especially in regard to sacks of garbage along the highways? You first, then Mr. Eastwood.
You want me?
Yes.
Okay. I have noticed a lot of the utility trucks even going to the landfill with not covered, and with derbies blowing out. And I think it's just going to have to take an educational program to try to teach the people that we got to clean up America.
Well, I've had some ideas. I don't know if they would work. I would like to see the citizens that are concerned. I think this Adopt a Mile is the greatest thing in the world. But I hate to see folks having to get out to pick up other people's trash. The fast food services, I've even thought about possibly a penny tax on them to help clean up the county, because that's where it's coming from. And I don't think people would bother a penny on each time they bought something. I also would like to see possibly the citizens writing down tag numbers, not making citizens arrest, but just getting a nice little card from the sheriff department saying, you was observed discarding litter from your vehicle, we would appreciate your consideration. I believe that would kind of get their attention. Sometimes you look at my vehicle and you can tell I don't throw it alongside the road. I have to take a sack about once a week and clean my vehicle out. And I wish people would look at the county and see how much nicer it looks. The trash pickup with the prisoners is working. I think we can do more with it. I think it can, I think the way I understand it, they enjoy getting out and walking the roads, picking up rather than sitting around. So I think those measures can help, and it really needs to be done.
Our hats are off this evening to all 4 candidates who came to share their views with us, the voters of Chambers County this evening. We congratulate ourselves on having people in our county willing to offer themselves for public service and the caliber of people we have seeking the offices such as the ones we've heard from tonight. The final chapter, regardless of the polls, will be decided in 2 weeks when you, the voters, will decide who you want to be your sheriff of Chambers County and who you want to be your Chambers County Commissioner from District 5. We urge you, please go to vote November the 6th, and thank you for joining us.
Skinner's Early Bird Christmas Specials let you own beautiful furniture at low, low prices. Choose quality swivel rockers for holiday comfort and value.
I can't ever
Just
think
pick your
what
style
to
at
think what I
Skinner's.
want.
Accent your home, buy for gifts. Skinner's gun cabinets, curios, and desk. This beautiful 4-piece bedroom suit is a low $399. Now at Skinner Furniture, downtown West Point. Just for you, Skinner's Furniture is featuring an early bird Christmas sale. Decorate for the holidays early and save on this table and 4 chairs of solid ponderosa pine, only $399. Entertain lots of guests with Skinner's popular steel daybed in gleaming antique white, only $88. Skinner's invites you to experience Comfort Plus in this holiday special sofa, a low $299. Remember, easy terms, free delivery at Skinner Furniture, West Point.
Decision 90 Part 3 has been brought to you with the best wishes of Skinner Furniture Stores on WALD Radio and Sammons Communications, Channel 6. This is cable television's 24-hour-a-day public service information, Channel 6.